Welcome to All Things Possible TV. I'm glad you're here today. Thanks for joining us. Today's episode is on EFT. It's titled Emotional Freedom Technique, a Simple Healing Method. Now, you may have heard a lot about emotional EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. Maybe you've never heard of it before. But have you used it? Have you learned how to do it? And have you seen changes in your life? It is amazing. As an energy healer, as an emotional healer, I've been trained and certified in over 16 different modalities of energy healing, and EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, is one of the tools that I pull out of my toolbox to use very frequently, actually, with different clients. And I've seen some amazing results. Before I go in and tell you all these things, let me share just one story, a very simple but yet cute story, how effective Emotional Freedom Technique can be. Several years ago, I invited a friend of mine to go to Lake Powell with us and stay on the houseboat. And he and his family, we didn't know them at all. He and I were friends at work, and so we went down there, two families staying on a houseboat together for 3 or 4 days. And so we was getting to know each other. And as we was preparing food, he says, "Oh, the youngest daughter of his won't eat meat, so don't worry about preparing meat for her." And he proceeded to tell us the story that when she was very young, about 3 or 4 years old, she wanted to go to the farm. He was going to butcher some sheep, and he says, "Oh, honey, you don't want to go with Daddy today." But of course, she's being Daddy's little girl, and little girls can wrap Daddy right around their finger. And she says, "Daddy, I want to go with you." And she finally convinced him. He took her with him. She watched him butcher that sheep, and she got very quiet and upset and didn't say a whole lot. Well, these people are farmers, and they eat a lot of meat. The meat is almost every meal. And at that point, she quit eating meat. She was 3 or 4 years old at the time. She was about 11 years old when we went on this trip. So for that many years, she had been totally, they called her the family vegetarian, but she absolutely wanted nothing to do with meat. She would go so far as to read the labels on cans and things they got at the grocery store to make sure they didn't have any meat products in them. And I said, "Hey, you don't know much about me, but I do this energy healing stuff. Let me try a little thing with your daughter." And he says, "Hey, whatever you want to do." And so I sat down with her, and I did one round of EFT. Now, this little girl just knew me as this, I was basically a stranger. She'd seen me, with her family for a couple of days. But I sat down, and it took about 5 minutes. I did one round of EFT and had her go through this process. Now, I'll explain to you what the process is later on. I didn't psychoanalyze her. I didn't have her talk about the sheep or anything like that. We just did this simple process. And I told her mother, I said, "Now don't make any big deal about anything she does, but when you're serving her, just put a little bit of meat on her plate, just a small piece. And don't just totally ignore everything that she's doing and see what happens." Well, she got through and she ate all of the other dishes on her plate, and finally all that was left is this meat. Of course, everybody's watching to see what she's going to do. And she took a little piece of that meat, put it in her mouth, and chewed it up, and thought about it for a minute, and then took the rest of it and ate it. And since then, over the next few days, she started eating more and more meat, and to where now she just eats as much as the rest of the family. And it was just through EFT. She had no idea what I was doing. We didn't talk about the sheep. We didn't talk about all that stuff. But EFT can be very powerful. Before I get in and explain to you more about what that is, I would like to offer you a free gift, and that is go to our website www.allthingspossibletv and click on the 7 traits to having all things possible in your life. And on that, my bride Kris shares 7 beautiful traits to enrich your life, to really move you forward in life. These are amazing. It's powerful. If you apply them in life, you'll see monumental change in your life. The other thing we'd like to do is offer, either with myself or with Kris, a free strategy session, about a 20-minute strategy session. And if you'll go to the same website, www.allthingspossibletv, and click on the Contact Us button, email either Kris or myself and say that you would like to schedule a free strategy session with us. And we would love to visit with you and work with you that way. And again, that's a complimentary gift that we offer to you for being one of the people or some of the people that watch our TV channel. So what is EFT? The long word for it is Emotional Freedom Technique, and it's a method similar to acupuncture, only without the needles. So there's no pain. It's done by tapping the points, okay? We have 12 meridian channels in our body, and everybody seems to know about acupuncturists. We'll pick a certain spot, a very specific point somewhere on the body, and they'll pop a needle in that to produce whatever result they want to, whether they're working with the kidneys, with an emotional release, with something. And what they are doing is they are picking specific points along one of these 12 meridians. Well, with EFT, what we do is we tap the points where these meridians end, and it sends energy through that whole meridian, and you can use this to treat. As we go through life, we get these things blocked up in our body that can cause emotional issues. They can be harmful to our health. They can create blockages and all these things. And the EFT can help release where that is stuck in our body. And it can be stuck in one of these or more of these 12 meridians. And if we go through tapping and releasing those 12 meridians, many times we can release the problem, as it did with this little girl with her meat problem of eating meat, having the fear from what she's seen as a child. You can use EFT to treat any problem, to deal with any problem, any conflict or addiction, any malady or health issue that can be occurring or reoccurring in your life. It's a painful and simple process. I love it because it is so simple. I love to use this on children because a lot of times to come to a stranger as a healer, a child comes to me. When an adult comes, they know they have these issues and they want to work with them. A child really doesn't know what's going on, and I love to use it with children. It's just as effective on adults, absolutely. But I had one lady who, her child was very clingy, could not let mom out of his sight, couldn't even let mom go to the bathroom alone. Mom's dad was out of the picture, and so the child was very over-attached to mother, very insecure when he was without mother, had a hard time going to kindergarten and stuff, being away from mom. And so mom contacted me and we scheduled 3 sessions. She's like, oh, this child has so many things going on, there's so much work. Let's do a package of 3 sessions because I'm sure it'll take that long to get to the bottom of all these things. We sat down and visited with him for about an hour, went through a couple things with EFT, and she called me up and I says, well, when do you want to schedule the next session? She says, is it all right if I take the next sessions for me? Because my child is not even the same child. He's like a whole different little guy now. And he's fine. I mean, all the issues that I was having, I'm not having issues with those now. So anyway, she took the other 2 sessions and we did work on her, which was very valuable. But it's very, very powerful technique. So what I want you to do is think of some issue in your life. This works really, really well for phobias. Do you have a fear of public speaking? It can be a headache. Do you have a headache right now? Or when you have a headache? Or are you angry at someone at work? Bob at work. Are you angry at Bob and you can't seem to let it go? Do you have a pain in the neck? Do you have a stiff neck? Do you have a sore knee? Do you have a bad relationship? Again, your anger at someone, or just even though I have a bad relationship with my sister or my mother, what have you, even though we have these hard feelings. And think of that issue, whatever issue you want to work on. There's lots of information about EFT. There's even some chat rooms or where you can talk, and people even say they unplug stuck toilets with EFT. I've never gone so far as to try that. I just grabbed the plunger. But try it on anything. It's amazing. It's a very powerful technique. So what I'd like you to do, okay, now you've got in your mind, and then follow along with me as we go through this process. But get in your mind something you'd like to work on. Is it a physical ailment? Is it an emotional thing? Is it a blockage? Is it anger that you're trying to let go? Whatever that is. And then think about that and rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. If you're angry at someone, how angry are you at them? 1 is just slightly ticked off, and 10 is you're ready to grab them by the neck and choke them. or your headache. How bad is your headache on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 is you're about ready to pass out, you're seeing stars, you cannot take the pain anymore. 1, of course, you get the idea, okay? And I like you to take this benchmark because you can immediately turn around and put yourself in that same situation at the end of one round of EFT and see if you need to do more. Rate your feelings again. So, for example, a headache's pretty easy to rate, but say we're having problems with mom. I don't get along with mom. Okay, so sit and close your eyes and think about your mother. And think about the things that she's did that's really upset you. Think about maybe the last argument that you guys had. And think about that and go, how upset am I thinking about this? And really try and put yourself in that moment. Think about that. And then rate that on a scale of 1 to 10. And then here we go with the whole procedure here. So I'm going to tell you how this works. First off, we go into a setup, all right? And right here on your chest, somewhere between your collarbone and your shoulder bone here, there's a sore spot right around in here. So if you grab your thumbs, move in and out, up and down a little bit, and you'll find this sore spot somewhere in there. And then rub in a circular motion on both sides, okay? And say, I'm going to say headache, okay? So, even though I have this headache, I deeply and completely accept myself. And then repeat it 3 times. Even though I have this headache, I deeply and completely accept myself. See, that's a little bit sore right there for me, and you find your sore spot. Even though I have this headache, I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay, good. That's the setup. You've started the setup, okay? Now, there's a couple variations on that. If you are helping a child through this, you want to say, even though I have this headache, for this little girl, even though I don't like meat, I'm still a good kid. That's what I told her. Even though I don't like meat, I'm still a good kid. And I had to repeat it 3 times. As an adult, you can say, I deeply and completely love myself, or I deeply and completely accept myself. Try both of them. Whichever one is the hardest one to say for you is probably the one you need to be saying, because you really don't love yourself, or you have, like on Facebook, you've unfriended yourself because you're so disgusted that you have this problem. I deeply and completely accept myself, or I deeply and completely love myself, okay? Whichever one is harder to say that one, because it will be more powerful. All right, so you've done that 3 times. Sore spots, and repeat the phrase, even though I have this, I deeply and completely accept myself, all right? Then it's very simple. Now you may want to, if you go on to the internet on your search engine and type in EFT tapping points, you'll find all kinds of diagrams of where this is, but I'm going to show you the 12 points to tap, okay? And we will go through those points right now, and I'll explain to you as I'm touching where they are. Okay, we start right here, right above the eyebrow. Do it with 2 fingers. You want to tap 5 to 10 times, okay? Right above where the eyebrow starts, right there. So, all I'll say is we're dealing with a headache, right? This headache. For the little girl that didn't like meat, I would say meat. It's just to remind yourself and your system of what issue. Is it meat? Is it headache? Is it a relationship? Anger. Is it anger? Is it a sense of failure? Whatever it is, tap that 5 to 10 times. Headache. This headache. Okay. Now you go over to this point right on the side of the eye. Okay? Same thing. This headache. 5 to 10 times. Use 2 fingertips. That way you make sure and hit the point. And then right here, center of the eye, underneath, on that little bone right underneath the eye center. Again, this headache. Now we go to the points that run right down the center. Let's go to the one right on top of the head. 5 to 10 times. Right at the crown of your head. This headache. Oh, see, there's less hair up there. All right. Now, right between the nose and the lip there. This headache. 5 to 10 times. Okay. Then right between the lip and the chin. Right here. This headache. Okay. And then let's hit the other point that's in the center that we don't have to do the second go around, and that's right in the middle of the breastbone here. This headache. Okay. Now you go right to the collarbone, right where you see you've got a collarbone on each side here. Just go to one side and we'll go right down that side of the body. This headache, okay? Tap that, this headache. Okay, very good. Now we go right underneath, right center line with the breast, right here underneath, just underneath the chest or the breast, the pec muscle. Tap this headache. Now, if I were wearing a bra, I call this the bra strap point. Right here on the side, right where the bra strap would go across, right on the side, underneath the arm, underarm, this headache. Okay, very good. Now, if you watch on the, if you do much research or you want to do some studying about this, I encourage you to do that. Lots of information on the internet. A lot of people have different ways to do it. If you watch 10 different videos, you'll probably see 10 different variations on doing EFT. All of them can be very effective. This is the full procedure. A lot of them just do the points on the head. Some do just do the points on the hands. I like to use everything because it works for me. And if it's not broke, I'm not going to try to fix it. So this is what works for me. It's not the only way to do it. I just want you to understand that. All right. So now we move to the points of the hand. Again, on the same side of the body. And right here, between, right at the base of the thumb, right there, this headache. And again, we go to the fingers here. How can I do this so you can see it? Right at the base of the finger, again, this headache. So this headache on the index finger, and now on tall man, this headache. We skip the ring finger. If you can't remember, just go ahead and do it. There's no point here, but rather than trying to remember which finger to skip, it's sometimes just as easy to do all of them. You're not going to do any damage. This headache, this headache. Now, the last one that we do is the karate chop point. So if you were going to karate chop somebody, right where you would hit them with the side of your hand is a point where another one of your meridians end. This headache. Okay, very good. So you've gone through that sequence one time. Now we run the gamut, which is kind of like a reset procedure. Sometimes, you know, when your computer gets slow or your cell phone, how many times you have to shut your cell phone off and start it over again so things will start working? Or hit the reset button. This is like hitting a reset button on our energetic system. So right here, the bones that run down between the small finger and the ring finger, right down there, just about halfway down, there's a point right there, okay? And you want to rub that in a circular motion and keep rubbing it while we do this reset. Don't ask me why it works, it just works, okay? So, eyes open for a few seconds, close your eyes for a few seconds. Very good. Now, without moving your head, look hard down to the right. Without moving your head. Did I do that without moving my head? I hope so. Okay. Hard down to the right. Now, the opposite. Hard down to the left. Without moving your head again. Now, all the time, keep rubbing that little spot between your hand, between those bones there. Now, roll your eyes in a circle. Oh, I forgot to rub my finger in a circle. Roll. Okay, no comments about the goofy eyes. I'm trying here, okay? Now roll your eyes in a circle the other way. Clockwise and then counterclockwise. And it doesn't matter which one you do first. Okay. A few times in each direction. Now hum 5 seconds of a very happy song. I like to hum I'm a Child of God, and sometimes I do Happy Birthday. Let's just do Happy Birthday. It's a very universal song. Everybody knows it. I'm better than that. I'm not known for my musical ability. Again, keep rubbing on the finger. So I'm 5 seconds of a happy song. Let's go with Happy Birthday. Then count to 5 very fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hum again another 5 seconds of the same song. I lost the tune. Okay, you got the picture, okay? I'm sure you can do better than me. Alright, so that's the reset procedure, and it just kind of resets the brain. Now I like to go down the other side of the body here. This side, yeah. Okay? I like to go down the other side. Now there's some points we don't need to do the second time because they're central. Top of the head, under the nose, the chin, and the breastbone, okay? Those are central. You don't need to do those again, so you can skip them on that side. So again, we'll go, what are we dealing with? A headache, okay? This headache. This headache. I didn't do that 5 to 10 times. 5 to 10 times. This headache. Again, side of the eye, straight out from the eye. Straight under the eye. This headache. Very good. All right. Now we go down to the collarbone. This headache. Oh, it's this side, isn't it? This headache. All right. Under the pec. This headache. And then on the side. Under the arm. This headache. All right. Then we go to the hand again. Again on the bottom of the thumb. This headache. We do the finger points. And let's just do all 4 fingers, because we know that the ring finger we really don't need to do, but you know what? It's just easier. Until you've done this a lot and you get very good at it, then you can skip that one. Doesn't do any harm to do it. Repeat this headache on each one as you're doing them. While I was talking, you should be saying this headache, this anger, meat, whatever your issue is. Repeat that at each one. And then your karate chop point. Okay. Then you're done with that. You've gone through all the points and released them. Now take, and we go right back to where we start again, okay? Which is the sandwich, all right? It's the setup. We repeat the setup again. Even though I have this headache, I deeply and completely love myself. Even though I have this headache, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this headache, I'm still a good person. Even though I have this headache, I'm okay. Whatever it comes to you to say along that line, as far as accepting and allowing, I'm still a good kid if you're working with a child. Okay? And then you're done. And you take a deep breath. Again. Let it all out. And then think about my headache. My anger towards my mom, my sister, my whoever, somebody at work. The problems, whatever blockages I'm having. And think about that. If we go back to problems with your mom. Now, think about that last argument you had with her. Really try to put yourself and remember the words that she said. And try, what was going on at that time. And then see how you feel. If you said a level 7 before, you might be down to a level 3 or a 4 or a 2 or a 1. Or you might actually feel like, well, that's just silly. That's just something that happens. That doesn't hurt me now. Okay? If you're at a level 4, you've got 2 choices. I suggest that you do the procedure again. That's what they say, is just keep repeating. If you're trying to get rid of a headache, if it's at a level 4, go through, start all over again. Okay? This is like a sandwich again. You've got the setup, which is this. You've got the sequence, which is the tapping. So sandwich, you got your bread, you got your condiments. Then you've got your meat here. And your meat in the middle is the gamut, where you do the reset with the eyes and the humming and the counting, okay? And then, underneath that, you got some more condiments and then another piece of bread. So it's just like this 5-piece sandwich. Just take the whole thing together. There you go. Run it again. See where your headache is, or see where your feelings are, or your fear, your phobia, wherever you are. Rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. That's why I ask you to do it at the beginning, so that you can have a benchmark for where you are. That's it. It is so simple. Some people won't try it because it seems too simple. It's amazingly powerful. As a healer, I have a lot of techniques that I use to deal with. Other techniques that I think are very effective, that I use to deal with pain, with diseases and stuff like that. And so I don't use it personally as much for that. They are very effective for it. Where I find this personally very effective is on phobias and emotional blockages, where you can't seem to get past some emotional issue that's going on. It's very good for just tearing down and just totally destroying the walls and the blockages that we have around ourselves, and the phobias, the things that aren't rational, but yet we still feel that way. Why am I so angry at this person? Why can't I let it go? It's not rational. I should be able to say it's done and gone. And this is very effective for those type of things. Very effective for headaches and anything else. You can be your own healer and do many things with emotional freedom technique. Now just a little bit of the back end as to why it works, why I believe it works as a healer, is I believe it's about accepting and allowing and not placing judgment on things. It's about, you know what, I have this headache, or I have this disease, that makes me a bad person. I'm fundamentally flawed. Something is wrong with me, and we start judging ourselves and we get down on ourselves. And this whole process with EFT, with the setup is, even though I have this illness or this disease, I deeply and completely accept myself. I love myself. I'm still okay. I'm still a good kid. What you're saying is, life's not perfect. I'm not perfect. And it's okay. Where before we tend to get so wrapped up and say, ooh, life's going to fall apart because this one thing is out of place, and we focus on the negative. But when we turn that around and we can say it's okay and I'm okay, at the same time sending that I'm okay energy, focusing on the problem into whatever meridian, and we cover all the meridians so we get wherever it's trapped, we go through and cover that. You'll see amazing results in your life. It's very powerful. I would love to work with you and teach you how to do this a little bit more. There's a lot of information on the internet. I encourage you to use it in your life. It's amazing. It'll make life easier for you. You can solve a lot of issues and a lot of things you may have been coming up against that seem like insurmountable problems in your life that you can just blast right through with emotional freedom technique. Thanks for joining us. Again, go to our website, www.allthingspossible.biz, and click on the 7 traits to get your 7 traits to having all things possible in your life. Amazing, good information there. Also, go to the same website, or while you're on there, click the Contact Us button, and Kris and I would love to do a free strategy session with you. If you will click the Contact Us button and tell us that you would like to schedule, and we'd love to schedule when I do a strategy session with you. Thanks for coming to visit us today. Thanks for hearing me out, and I would love to hear back from you on how EFT has changed your life. So, until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.